how we were doing. Yeah. I always get a little bit nervous on stage, even when playing to 3 people. In fact, I got so nervous today that I had to do that Asian thing with the needles to relax myself. You know what it's called? No, heroin. But no, my friends told me I should do drugs. They said that drugs broaden the mind. They said that. So I went to a party once, and I did some drugs. And I woke up the next morning naked, with a man's hand on my thigh. And as I walked away, I realised that one part of my anatomy had been broadened, but it wasn't my mind. Yeah. I know. Hey. Yeah. So, as we're talking about illegal activities, like hey, not anal sex. You're allowed to do anal sex. I'm talking about the drugs. It's fine. You're allowed to do drugs. In fact, that reminds me a little bit. It's the end of Movember now, and I've got this quite fine moustache going on. I've made $100 in Movember. Thank you very much. And one of my friends, she told me that it made me look a little bit like a pedophilic Mario. It's a bit mean, isn't it? It's a little bit mean. And I figured it wasn't really like in keeping with Mario either. When I imagine a pedophile, he's quite secretive, isn't he? He wants to keep his sexual desires on the down low. Mario, on the other hand, is, "It's me, Mario! I want to touch your children!" So I'm figuring that pedophile is probably not a great occupation for Mario. Don't you think? But while I'm talking about illegal activities, here we go. I'll just find my mic stand. Does everyone know who this is? Does anyone know who this is? This is Abu Hamza al-Mazari. He's a Muslim cleric, and he would say things like, the homosexual have a common punishment among them, and they have the virus to run after them wherever they go. That's lovely, isn't it? Yes. It's not called suicide, it's called martyring, because if the only way to hurt the enemies of Islam is by taking your own life, then it is allowed. Islam. The religion of peace, right? Those women who appear without the... This is another quote from Abu Hamza al-Mazari. He said, those women who appear without the hijab deserve to be raped. And indeed, the rape is justified and a holy act. And these women, they shall surely be stoned to death. Attractive, isn't he, ladies? Eh? Look at that, eh? Oh, look at his hand too. Do you like his hand? That's especially attractive, don't you think? Yes. The thing is, he's just been extradited from the UK to face charges of terrorism or terrorist speech in the US. The thing is, he wasn't extradited for any of those statements. But when this picture appeared in the Sun, they were like, "Oh, we don't like what you have to say about women, but you mess with Peter Pan, and I tell you what." While we're on the subject of religion, I have a book here. It's called Science for Christian Schools. I'd just like to read a piece from it for you. This is entitled Chapter 3, Electricity. From the book, Science for Christian Schools. Electricity is a mystery. No one has ever observed it, or heard it, or felt it. What's really interesting is on the next page they've got like a picture of a thunderstorm, and oh yeah, no one's ever observed that. No one's ever observed it, or heard it, or felt it. If they had told me that when I was 8 and I stuck the fork in the socket, they were like, well, that'd be awesome. No one's ever felt it, so it's not a deal. Just get over it, grow up. We can only see and hear and feel only what electricity does. We know that it makes light bulbs shine and irons heat up and telephones ring, but we cannot say what electricity itself is like. We cannot even say where electricity comes from. Like a power station, right? I know where electricity comes from. It's like the power, and then now you just think that like it's science for Christian schools, science, and you think that if they were actually teaching science, they might say, well, if you spin a magnet around and there's a copper wire outside of it, that will create an electric current. That's science, right? That's science. Yeah. No. We cannot even say where electricity comes from, sorry. Some scientists think that the sun may be the source of most of electricity. Weirdly. Others think that the movement of the earth produces some of it. All anyone knows is that electricity seems to be everywhere and that there are many ways to bring it forth. Like this lady here, with this young girl here, with her hairdryer. There's handy, isn't it, right? Oh, it's not that we can produce electricity, it's not that we know where it comes from, but all we seem to know is that electricity seems to be everywhere and that there are many ways to bring it forth. So just plug it into the jack and bring forth the Jesus juice. That's what we need to do. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic, isn't it?
I'd like to see the one on biology.
I've got the one on centrifugal force, but maybe some other time. Yeah, electricity. Has anyone seen these like packets?
Yeah.
This is the most frightening one to me.
I've got a foot. He's got the feet.
Foot's really frightening.
Foot.
Yeah. Has everyone seen the foot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Smoking causes gangrene. Yeah, that's scary, isn't it? But unlike this guy, I smoke with my hands. It's a bit different. But the one that's most frightening to me is this one. It's the one that says smoking causes blindness.
Oh yeah, with the big eye.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's got the big eye on it, and these fucking pieces of metal in the eye. That's what's more frightening to me, is not only does smoking cause blindness, but it like sticks little pieces of metal in your eye. That's quite frightening. But the reason that I don't sort of accept, or I don't sort of get off on the idea that smoking causes blindness, is that my family has been telling me that things that I do will cause blindness for like my entire life, right? And that hasn't stopped me from doing that, not even a little bit. Not even slightly. Because I really like masturbation. Yeah. And he knows, we all do, it's a thing, you know. And I like it especially because I'm really good at it. Clearly. Look at the face. No, I'm not saying that if masturbation was an Olympic sport, I'd win gold, but I'd certainly be in with a bronze, you know. I've got the whole like reverse twist, upside down, double flangadangy flick going on. I mean, I'm all up for that stuff. Like I'm very, very good at masturbation. In fact, I grew up in a small town in New Zealand, and when you're good at something in small town New Zealand, you get a name for it. So obviously I was known as the wanker from very early on. And when I was around about 11 years old, one of my friends came up to me and he said, Kent, you know wanking? And I said, yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? It's wonderful. And he said, well, no, it just hurts, it kind of burns. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, maybe you could show me what you do when you're. And I'm like, no, mate, no, I can't do that. Like that's just a bit gay. But what I will do is I'll watch you while you do it.
Slowly scared.
Because that's gay, but that's not gay, right? So I went round to his house at the appointed time, Thursday night, you know, date night, and I went round to his house and sat in the comfortable chair. And I sat there and I said, no, go ahead. And right now you're looking at me and you're seeing this guy and this face, like 35-year-old man with a moustache watching an 11-year-old boy jack off. That's not how it was going on. I'd get arrested for that. I was 11 too, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Yeah. Yeah, imagine the opportunities I missed, I guess. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching him, and he says, like, I like to play with my nipples first. And I'm like, really? Yeah? Well, I tell you what, just go ahead, just do it. Like I'm some sort of wanking guru, you know, at 11, just do that. That's obviously a thing. So he said, well, I'll just do that. I'll just play with the nipples first. Plays with his nipples, and then he drops his pants. And he looks at me, deep in the eyes. And he takes down his pants and he drops them. And then he does this. And I'm like, stop! And you're like, dude, stop! No wonder it burns. You're not masturbating, you're trying to start a fire. Thank you very much. I've been Ken Lambert.
We're still
still friends though, eh? Alright, we're still mates, that's great. I did enjoy the Olympics. Did you guys watch the Olympics as New Zealanders? Wasn't it great? I loved it, because I watched a rugby match, I don't know what's going on, like kick it, pass it, oh no, she go, pass it out to the wing, go for the full, go for a try, go for the... But no, you watch Mahi Drysdale, and what do you do as New Zealanders? You sit there watching TV. Row! Faster! Winner! Nice and straightforward. That's the sort of sport that I enjoy. Also, did you guys follow those Chinese badminton players who got accused of